Good afternoon. Um, just getting home from work, and now is the perfect time to get some work done on the Honda. There's a problem that's been plaguing me for quite some time, and so now I'm finally going to work on it. And what that problem is my car's a really bad lag. It's a 96 EK hatch with a GSR engine in it, GSR trans. Everything's just full stock, pretty much GSR. And I don't know what's wrong. I don't think my cat is plugged. It starts every time I turn on the fuel pump, and I can hear the fuel pump priming. It starts right up, and then when I go to drive in any gear, there's just this lag. Like I go to accelerate off the line, and it bogs down. And so I've narrowed it down to what we think is a fuel issue. But I also had a suggestion from one of my coaches at the gym that maybe I should replace my air filter. And it seems simplistic, but I'm going to do that too because I've probably had this air filter on for a couple years, not thinking about it because it's like a cone air filter and no one can really tell. So let me show you what the problem is, and I hope we can find a solution today. All right, here's the engine bay of my baby. It's pretty cleaned up. I need to actually clean it. It's a little dirty, but we got rid of anything possibly non-essential, put the full-size radiator in there. And last time I think I showed working on this, we did a valve adjustment, we did an oil change, we did a valve cover gasket, and then I think I even ended up replacing one of these studs that I broke off because I thought, hey, why not use an impact? It's faster. And I snapped one off, but I replaced the thing on the inside, even though I don't have a washer to cover it, but now it's sealed and not leaking there either. And so now we need to get into the fuel rail because I'm replaced a fuel pressure regulator, that bad boy, and that's all hooked up correctly. So next I'm going to replace the injectors. I never had a problem like this before, so I'm not doubting the order they're in. So once I pull the fuel rail, I will do them one at a time, and I will check the little filters, the little screens, and also look at the tips to make sure they're not cracked, because maybe it's putting too much fuel in there. I don't really know. It's just not running correctly. And then I'll swap out this pretty gold air filter that matches the gold aesthetic theme of all my fancy knockoff Skunk 2 hardware. It'll be a red one, and it should fit. And I got that brand new on eBay for like $14. As we go back into the garage, I just brought these home from my work. For my white hatchback, my 97, I bought these side skirts from the junkyard, and I get in and I paint it and I clean it. I make it championship white, and it does not fit. I don't know if you could see that across here. It's pretty much straight. So I went back, found another coupe, because they never have hatchbacks in the junkyard where I buy everything from. And so I got this second side skirt, which cuts in right there. So I also hope my housemate has some sort of cutting tools, and we will cut this one for my car, and then I will gift him the other one for helping me, because I appreciate it. So as we come into here, we see our other projects like our master brake booster. Yeah. The brake master cylinder is going to go back on there. So I got that all shined up. I need to move this engine out, and he is also, my roommate Zero, has given me the injectors off his B16, because I don't think that my B16 has an intake manifold on it. So we're going to borrow those. So I'm going to pull those off and get those all laid out by the car, and then we'll start this project together, and we will probably do it in time lapse, so it doesn't take an hour for me to show it to you. All right, here we go. So I pulled this out real quick. It's pretty easy. There's just 3 10mm nuts right there, and I'm taking the whole fuel rail because it's not attached to anything. I will just replace the injectors though. It's a pretty easy job. So difficulty level 1. Even in a car, it should be pretty simple. My car should be all cooled down for now. I did let it sit for a little bit because I didn't want to work on hot stuff, and I'm going to try to wear gloves through this whole thing. I've already started a pile. I've gone through 3 already, just finding a 10mm socket. I have every 11 in the world when all I need is a 10. It's kind of how my normal life feels. You can relate, hit me in the comments with that. But yeah, I'm just gonna pop this bad boy off in the same way. I will use the impact for this because it will make it faster. And I do wish I could put my hood up higher, but with these hood pins or hood risers, it makes it so it doesn't really want to go to that top racer full hood level. All right, so let me get this set up on a little tripod, and we'll record me taking these out. I'm not really going to say anything while I'm doing it, because it's pretty straightforward, and there's probably much better videos than this that explain how to do it in more detail, but it should be pretty straightforward even with that big strut tower bar in the way.
You said never let me go. 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 You said.
I made sure before I started to take off my gas cap. Last time I didn't do this, and I took off the fuel pressure regulator, and fuel just shot all over my face. This time there was barely any fuel pressure in the line. Okay, so we went through all the injectors out of the B16. Looked really good, so I put those in. And one thing I noticed that other B series don't have is this cute little bracket right here that holds the fuel rail to the manifold, because we're putting so many stock horsepower through here that it needed that little bracket to keep the fuel rail from popping off, apparently. I don't know, but I put it back because it was on there. So I was looking at the old injectors, and I'm the one that replaced these by myself. One of them is looking pretty rough. It's this one. I thought I changed all of them, but this one looks different from the rest of them. It even has a different brand name on there. So this is an older one, but then I zoom in there, and it's a big crack right there. So I think that everything that could possibly go wrong happens when there's any kind of like busted plastic or something happens to that little tip inside. And then also too, this one, it was really hard to get this filter out of here. It's kind of like stuck in here. We did get it out to check it, and it was clean. All the little screens in here were clean. So now that the new injectors are in, beautiful new air filters in, surprisingly that time lapse, what took me the longest was the actual air filter. It was only actually like a 10-minute job getting those in and out. Just because my strut tower bar is in the way and I'm not taking that out. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this bad boy up, and you can be here for that. And then we'll see where it goes for there. And we'll also check the codes to see why I still have a check engine light. All right, here we are inside the car now. You can see there's a check engine light. I have it in. I have the code reader plugged in. See if I can see the screen on here. I think I wanna hit the one for diagnose. Bam. And I'm also gonna turn on the fuel pump to prime. Taking a second. Let's see how many billions of codes I have. I cover that. Bam. All right. That is not helpful. Hit some buttons. Okay, thank you for that information. Oh yeah, read codes, stored codes. I'm gonna put accurate because that's the type of engine it's got in it. Okay, vtec, solenoid, or switch circuit. It's a P1259. That's cool. And then we have a cylinder 1 misfire, P301. All right. Well, I'm going to do the most responsible thing that I can do, and that is erase the codes. Yeah, I got it. Just all right, perfect. All right, on to the start. Okay, keys are on. It's ignition. There's no clutch safety switch. Just hit the button. Well, it's on. I'm sure it'll be a matter of seconds before the check engine light comes on, but it's running. I'm gonna take it out to the engine bay and check it out there. All right, I hope you can hear me with this bad boy on. It purrs pretty nicely. I like that it is kind of loud, but a lot of the sound comes from the intake of it just breathing in. So I like that sound more than the higher raspy sound of the exhaust that most people have. I turn away for 5 seconds, and my housemate, bam, hit me with some clips. So one thing I'm always missing, but I'm looking. And I don't see any fuel leaking out, so that means I didn't do a terrible job. Still no check engine light. We have to take this thing for a quick rip to see if anything will happen. Yeah, I think that was it. We took it for a little test rip down in Mexico where the speed limits don't apply, which is not too far away, just a little farther south than where we live. Just hopped over the border right quick, and still no fuel leaking, so I got them on right. I always got to second guess myself because a lot of times I don't tighten things enough. So I like to use the impact, and then sometimes I over tighten things, which causes more problems. Today was not that day. I'm gonna check the oil, make sure that's all good, and then this is ready to button up. My next issue on here that will be addressed in another video is when I was driving, I hit a rock, so I need to replace this tire because it doesn't look as cool as the other one. This is my full-size spare because I'm just super picky about this because my tire should look rad like this. Bam. Which, that one's in the trunk right now. But I've been feeling and noticing something was going on with my brakes. I don't know if you can see how much of a different color that is. It's pretty hot, I'm not gonna touch it. But it just sounds like a grinding noise, which means that I need to probably swap out my brake pads and definitely my rotors. And I think I have some, so we will have to find those. But that's what we got for today. All right, and until next time, I'll see you guys again. We'll be back on the wagon, or we'll do more on this. We'll just keep cleaning it up until the world ends. I hear an asteroid's passing by. Not close enough, though.